Okay, anyone want to put their hand up and tell me how he disrupted your vibes and your feeling? Anything that you learned, anything that you got? Okay, you want to put your hand up, I'll come to you. How was the talk from Malibongwe? Did he disrupt you?
Yes.
Yeah? How did he get you?
I like that it's not about what's happened in the past, it's about what's in you. Looking back, forget what's behind you and going forward. So.
These people have a massive heart for what they do. And they're so polite and humble. I didn't bring them up. They've just come into this journey that I'm on this train that's moving. And my job is to lead this movement and to develop people like Malibongwe and Bulirani. Come guys, why are you being so shy? Irene, please stand up, you did well. Yes, I'd like you to gift and I'm going to pay you. Okay, don't worry. No, stand up there. Gift her a CD, a hat, and one of your books, please. Wow. And let's take some. And in 2020 fashion, just cut me a little video and tell us why it's important. Why what Irene is doing is important.
What Irene's doing is important because it's not only for her, but she's actively changing a whole cycle and a whole generation. She's actually started the wheel moving that was slow in her life, and she's reshaping the whole destiny for her family. So it was important for you to stand up there, because when you were standing up there, you were a testimony to yourself.
Come on guys, let's take a picture. Can everybody who's got a camera take a picture of this? Because this is the sweetest moment of the meeting so far. Am I the only photographer? Okay. It's all right. We'll use it to the maximum. You guys are cute.
Stay there for a minute, please. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'd like to move forward and introduce my partner. Her name is Desiree Thomas. We're not all guys. This is also done with the female touch. She's going to wrap it up and we're going to give her the platform for less than 180 seconds just to touch in. You notice I brief all of them and none of them stick to it. But it's cool. Desiree Thomas, put your hands together for my business partner. She's running the operations and leading it 2020. Let's do
it. Good morning. I'd like to acknowledge your presence here with us, Madam Zuma. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nicholas. I will try not break the rule. I met Nick in 2000, actually in 2000. I had come out to a radio station at YFM, and I had been interviewed by a gentleman called Fat Joe on his Fat Joe Live show, and Nick then was the executive producer of the show. We were all very young. I think Nick was 22 then. A friendship evolved from that time onwards. Nick would say that he's not one to lead from the front, but from behind, and that is very correct. And Henny, just having recently met you, I see a lot of synergies between the two of you, because I believe that the two of you actually are creators of people and creators of things. And in a world where there's so few of that kind of person, we acknowledge and appreciate the people that you are. I had just finished a show on TV called Gladiators at the time, and I'd had a nursing diploma. I had done firefighting. I'd come from a township, not even a township, a village in KwaZulu-Natal called Richmond, where a place that is just rife with all sorts of social challenges: teenage pregnancy, drug abuse, violence at the time. In fact, in my class of 1986, there's only 3 of us that are still alive due to the violence then. I'm only alive from that whole scenario because one night at 12 o'clock midnight, I took my ID and ran away in the middle of the night so that I could stay alive. That's another story for another day, and that's not what I'm trying to talk about here. During those years of social strife, I had this picture, this vision that I wanted to be somewhere other than Richmond, in as much as I loved Richmond. So I did run away and I did move. When I met somebody like Nick, back then, he had just come in from the UK or from Jamaica or wherever that Nick was coming from at the time. He said to me, go and get yourself an education. After a lot of striving about how I was going to get the education, I did go and enroll at WITS, and I did a degree, a diploma, and then went on to get a degree, all self-funded. Long story short, after that, I went into retailing, which was Pick n Pay. I bought a Pick n Pay franchise. Nick is the person who put the money out forward for me at the time. There was no banker that was going to invest in me. I didn't have the credit worthiness, and I needed the owner's equity, and nobody wanted to look at me. Nick put his money in, his savings, and believed in me and said, there, go for it. Went into Pick n Pay. It was a school conversion in Kliptown in Soweto. I'm sure some of us know about the many school conversions in the townships. We turned that around in the first year with 26% profits, the best health and safety results in the whole country, up to 90%. We took a store that would naturally look great in Sandton, but in the heart of Kliptown would be an absolute luxury. We turned the store around, created profits, and due to various challenges in the township at the time with break-ins, we decided to sell back to the franchisor. Great story, and from that we went into cattle farming. All while we were all doing our own things. I know it's very and I could go on, and I'm not very good like Bulelani to actually be sequential about my stories. But we then joined a team called Leadership 2020, which is run by Nicholas and Sibuliope. Great stories, and the reason that I'm with these brothers is because I see how not how they've only just changed my life, but the lives that they change around them, and most often not with funds. And you're so correct, Bulelani, that most things that are to happen and happen greatly don't always require funding. They don't always require money. Sometimes when you throw money into things, people people don't know how to use the money correctly, you lose the money and you lose the chance to make it great. So no, it's not always about the money. It's about the hope and the vision and the determination to make something work out of nothing. And ultimately, when we create employment for others and create opportunities for ourselves to move forward, that for me is the ultimate reward. I always say that entrepreneurs are a big blessing, even a bigger blessing to preachers and pastors in this world, because entrepreneurs create pathways for people to live. Where somebody is paying a salary for people to create livelihoods for themselves, that is a blessing. For me, that is a Jesus Christ. And to have an entrepreneur who survives the storms and perseveres through all of the trials and tribulations of business, the cash flow crisis, and going home and stressing about how you're going to pay your staff at the end of the month, that is a blessing. And if entrepreneurship was a church, I would subscribe. So I would like to say to all of us today, let us pay attention, and let us try to work together as people in this country. Another thing that I see in South Africa, as having traveled widely, is that we have one of the best black-white relationships in the world. It's hard to believe because we have so many challenges in South Africa. There's social media where we see us going at each other, and it sounds like we are terribly racially divided. But we do have the best black-white relationship in the world. And you will only know this when you go out there and you see how things are. And I'd love to say this is also the best country to live with in the world. So I'm excited when I see this type of interaction. Our brothers and sisters all sitting together, strategizing on how we can create entrepreneurship, how we can improve on making this, because this is our ecosystem. If we don't make it right in this ecosystem, we are all affected. And therefore, I'd like to say, Henny, thank you for this opportunity. We're inviting Leadership 2020, and I do hope that everything will be for the best in your